Good evening. Some Valley parents are coming forward tonight with a confession. They're giving their daughter medical marijuana.
Madeline Garza is not yet 2 years old. She suffers from several neurological disorders that keep her from developing like a normal child.
Her parents found cannabis is helping her more than any prescribed medicine they've ever tried.
At Channel 5's Leslie Aguilar shares her story in tonight's special report, A Last Hope.
Sunday night at the Garza residence is just like any Valley family's. Barbecue with all the fixings. The only difference, they're no longer in the Valley.
The first time we came to Colorado was in a moving truck.
The family of 5 picked up and moved from Sullivan City, Texas to Aurora, Colorado 7 months ago. They did it for their youngest child, Madeline.
It's the best thing we could have done for her.
Madeline's mother, Tracy, explained Madeline has a rare neurological disorder. We found out when Madeline started having spasms when she was just 2 months old.
Her seizures were pretty intense. She would have, and I'm not exaggerating, like hundreds a day, to where she would seize and then just fall asleep.
Doctors prescribed drug after drug to ease Madeline's seizures. Some weren't effective. Others came with harmful side effects.
Like she was always asleep, like a zombie, just sleeping, or we found out that she was like close to having kidney failure.
Garza started researching marijuana as a treatment. The plant has helped children with all sorts of neurological conditions, especially children with epilepsy. The Garzas moved to Colorado last November, where recreational and medical marijuana is legal. Madeline started taking a cannabis oil every day. She went a month and a half seizure-free for the first time in about a year.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't working. We would have moved back immediately.
Her seizures did come back after a recent eye surgery.
We were meeting Madeline for the first time with marijuana. After that, her seizures did return slowly, but nothing like Texas.
We saw Madeline's medicine at work mid-interview with Madeline's father, Emmanuel.
She's in pain constantly, so why not try to alleviate her pain?
I asked if this is how her seizures start.
Yeah.
This is the face of a father helplessly watching his daughter in pain, arms and legs stiff and flailing. Tracy hears Madeline's cries from the other room. She brings the cannabis oil. 2 doses go in Madeline's mouth. Rubbing her cheek helps her swallow it. Immediately, Madeline stops screaming. Eventually, her body relaxes. Her seizure stops in less than 30 seconds. After a few minutes of catching her breath, she'll fall fast asleep. If the Garzas were caught with Madeline's medicine in Texas, they could be arrested. That's why the family can't return home to the Valley, even just for a visit.
Me and my wife, we do not do marijuana. We're not, we didn't come here to get high. We just came here for her.
The Garza family isn't alone. Families from all over are flocking to Colorado for medical marijuana. More and more marijuana farms are popping up all over the state. This warehouse alone grows over 300 marijuana plants every 8 weeks. All of these plants are sold for recreational use, but many of them are also used to make medicine. The marijuana for Madeline's cannabis oil is grown here. Jason Cranford owns the operation.
In total, there's probably several thousand people that have moved here from other states as refugees, and we've worked with over 1,000 of those people.
Many of those medical refugees are children like Madeline.
A lot of them have epilepsy, a lot of autism, cerebral palsy, MS, things of that nature.
Cranford makes 2 types of medical marijuana oil, each based on a different component of the plant. One with only CBD and one with THC. Marijuana is made up of dozens, possibly hundreds of components called cannabinoids. THC is the only one that can cause a high.
The THC levels in the products, it's not high. It's not as much as smoking a joint.
Cranford manufactures both products in his own lab. He makes sure every batch is pure and safe.
This is an unlabeled bottle of that CBD oil. You can see how clear and smooth it is. In this lab, they remove a lot of this solid plant waste. It's dirt and plant wax that can be bad for you. It's removed from the CBD oil, even though they're not required to by the FDA.
That's a huge issue in the industry is lack of regulation. You give pesticides in a product to a kid with autism and it's a disaster.
Cranford's business is booming, yet he craves more regulation. He says not all growers are as educated and careful about how they make their products sold as medicine.
So I get bonded with these families and sometimes emotionally attached with some of them.
Doctors want change as well. Meet Dr. Jackie Bainbridge, a professor of pharmacy at Colorado University's Department of Clinical Neurology.
It's been a really great product for many different neurologic conditions and some cancers as well.
She can't deny the benefits of marijuana because she's seen them in patients at the university's clinics and hospitals. Even with all the proof of marijuana's medicinal benefits, researchers are still blocked from real breakthroughs by the federal government's roadblocks. The Garza family will wait for change in Colorado. Emmanuel and Tracy have no doubts they're doing the right thing for their daughter.
People have the assumption that we're getting our daughter high, but I say if she's eating more, she's growing, she's smiling, she's giggling, I prefer that than her having 1 hour seizures every day.
This family now has hope for Madeline. Hope she'll speak someday and play with her brother and sister. They hope someday they'll be able to return to the valley.
Colorado is beautiful, it's just not home.
Leslie, you mentioned in your report that doctors in Colorado face roadblocks from the federal government. So what does that mean?
Well, it's not just doctors in Colorado where marijuana is legal. It's doctors all over the U.S. and researchers as well. The DEA considers marijuana a Schedule I controlled substance. Also on that list are ecstasy, heroin, and LSD. Now, all of those drugs are classified as having a high probability of abuse and no medical benefits. And because of that, it's difficult for scientists to get approved for clinical trials or any other kind of researchers. So a lot of what doctors know about marijuana comes from research from other countries or just from anecdotal reports from patients using it.
And Leslie, you also mentioned there's only one component of the marijuana plant that can cause a high, so why not just get rid of that chemical?
Well, yes, there is only one component of the marijuana plant that can cause a high, but unfortunately for many patients like Madeline in our story, that's also the cannabinoid that helps them. There are many patients out there who just take CBD products with no THC in it, and it's very effective for them. Many states have legalized strictly CBD producers. Every patient is different though, and some people need that THC for marijuana to be an effective medicine for them.
And that CBD oil is not legal here in Texas?
Well, it is, but only for a select few patients. And we'll take a look at that side of the story coming up at 10:30. But for now, in the studio, Leslie Aguilar, Channel 5 News at 10.